Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we're going to be doing week 5 of the Ultimate Picnic Quilt. And these are going to be flying geese. So now we're going to get to practice with our flying geese if you haven't before. I'm going to show you the fabrics. And this should go pretty fast. We're going to take out our blue rectangles and our white squares. We're using 8 of these and 16 of these because you need twice as many. We're going to mark on the back side diagonally. And if you've watched my videos, you know how this goes. So let me get a marker here. We're going to use a green one. And what they're wanting us to do is mark from one end to the other. And that's going to be our sewing line. And actually, I think I'm going to do this in pencil. Because since it's on the wrong side, I use a number 2 pencil. You're not going to be able to see it. And just mark it real light, like that, from point to point, as you can see. Just mark it like that. And now we're going to take our rectangle. And I always do it from the top to the bottom. Put it down to the most outer edge off of here, and then I make sure I land up at the top and the bottom. Then I'll put one pin in it just to hold it. And then we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and we're going to, from the top to the bottom, you don't want to sew this direction because this could jam up in your sewing machine. We want to make it easy on ourselves. So go from the top to the bottom. Now you can chain stitch all of these. I'm using a 12-inch needle, 2.5-inch length. White thread is what I'm using this time around. We're just going to go from one end to the other. Just like that. And then you put another fabric up underneath here to chain stitch. I'll show you. I have another piece of fabric, same setup. It's got the mark down it. You just put it right up underneath your needle after you finish doing the first piece. Don't cut anything and just go with the next piece. This is called chain piecing because it's one piece after another and it's going to be on a long chain of fabric. I mean a long chain of thread. And then when you're totally finished and you got a whole bunch of them all together, you cut it, you take it, you pull it out, and then you cut each and every one of these, just like that. And that would be chain stitching, and then all of these would be completed. So let's go ahead and do that. Everybody get all of this side done. Now this is how I mark. This is the mark that I made from the top to the bottom. And then I added another mark. And what I did was I took my ruler. Here's my first original mark from tip to tip. I took my 1/4 inch. And I have one of two things to do. First time I went and I go to the left of the line that I just drew, and then I do dashes through the middle. And then I flip my ruler because this is a 1/2 inch, and I go over a 1/2 inch and I drew a straight line. Okay? Well, then I decided to take the dash line out of the middle because I already know I need to cut right down that middle to split it. If you do it this way, you'll end up with a little half square triangle. It'll look like this. And then you can make that for other projects. But if you don't want to go that small, that's fine. Don't do that then. Okay? You can just trash it or put it in your scraps. But I went ahead and I wanted to use it because I have other ones this small already from other projects. So I'm going to set those aside. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue to chain stitch all of them. And then when I'm finished with the chain stitching, it's going to look like this. So it'll have 2. This is the one that I did with the dashes the first time around. Both lines are sewn. I chain stitched this one first, took them off, cut it, and then I chain stitched all of these. So now all I gotta do is cut these in half. And then it'll look like this, right like that. Then you'll take it, you'll flip it over this way, and you will iron it. Then you end up with this. Like that. And now we're gonna put our fabric on the other side. You're going to take it. I did the same thing. I did all the marking already. You're going to put it down on here. you're going to go to the bottom and on the outside edge, make sure it lines up just like that. Put your pin in if you need to, and then we're going to sew it from the top down, chain stitch them, cut them apart, and then sew from the top down. Okay, so this is me chain stitching the second part of it. And by the second part, I mean that half square triangle on the side here that I marked. And you won't be doing this if you're not making this part right here. This is just me. I know it's a little extra work if you do it, but I already know that I want all these little half square triangles. I have a project in mind. A whole bunch of different ones that are all different colors. So that's what it looks like. Both of them sewn just like that. And now we're going to cut this little piece off here at the 1/4 inch. And we're going to flip this over and we're going to have our flying geese just like that. Okay, so I want to come back real quick and explain to you. If you feel like you'll get confused by this, then you can do this and mark it with different colors. So I marked this with a red and this with a blue. Although it looks like it's black, it is blue. I don't know if I can get close enough. But just mark them with different colors. And then you could put a dash line in the middle of any color you want also. So you'd have 3 different colors so you won't get confused of where you're sewing. Because I always sew the first one, which belongs to the block. Now, if you do this, don't forget and turn it the opposite direction. Because if you do, then it's not going to be correct. Think about it now. Instead of it being this much cut off, you would have cut all of this off. Okay, so make sure it's going in the right direction. And if it helps with the colors, the different colors for the sewing line, that's great. Okay, so let's keep going. Now you want to go ahead and get the 4 red ones that you have. You want to go ahead and mark up all those squares. That's going to be 8 of them, the little 3x3 squares. And I've marked them again just like I did before. And I'm going to go ahead and chain stitch these. Okay, so we want to go ahead and we want to do all 4 of these just like we did the blue ones. You're going to do the one side first, left or right, it doesn't make any difference. Just make sure that you've marked it correctly. Look, this one's upside down right now. I got to turn it this way. I've even got to catch myself. All right, I just looked at all of them. They look correct. Now I'll do the one that belongs to the flying geese first. Just like this. Disconnect both of them, the 2 that are sewn together, the chain. I'll go ahead and cut them right between the middle there. And if you didn't do that part, then you're going to cut them a 1/4 inch from this sewn line right here. Now we're going to take them, now that we finished them, and we're going to put the second white block on the right hand side to make the flying geese. I'm going to do every one. Make sure that this, if you're doing it like me where you've got the half square triangle when you're finished, then you want to make sure that that line is on the right top. And then we'll go ahead and we'll chain stitch all of these. Now just like before, I'm starting up here at the top. While it's still connected, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do these others that are going to create my half square triangles. Cut all of these apart. Let me back you up a little bit here. So it should have, if you've done it this way, it's got 2 little things you're going to clip off thread here. Otherwise you'll cut off 1 thread. Then we're going to cut it off, and we're cutting between the middle here. I did not mark it to cut. We're going to go right here and cut it. Then I'll have a half square triangle, and then I'll flip this over, and we'll have our flying goose. And don't forget to relax your seams. This stage of the game, you've got 4 red and 8 blue flying geese done. And now we're going to go on to the next step. Go ahead and trim those up if you have to. Next step, which is number 3, is we're going to use white for the geese instead of the red and the blue. So we've got a 3 by 5.5 inch. We're putting our 3-inch squares on the left hand side. These are all the red ones, and I've already marked them all. finger underneath there. So there's the red ones. Here are the blue ones. I've marked them so that I'm ready to put them on there. And then because I'm doing the half square triangles on mine now, I have it pointed up towards the top left, all of them. And I'm going to go ahead and chain stitch these just like we did the red ones. Then I'm going to come back and put this on the other side. And this time it will be going upward. The little bitty portion that needs to be cut off is upward. And I'm going to get all of these done. You guys go ahead and do them just like we did the first 2 sets of flying geese. And then we'll come back. We're going to put 2 on the square of J, so that we'll have 2 strips like that, because this is our middle row into building it. So let's do that. You don't need to mark these if you don't want to, but if you want to, you can. They're just 1/4 inch. I'm just going to push them up there and sew them. And I'm going to chain stitch these since we're doing 2 of them. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do the other 2 sides. Now iron these open. Okay, so we're going to make 4 of these. We're going to take the blue geese and put them on top of the pink geese in this direction. So go ahead and make 4 of these. I'll pin them all up, just a sec. And then we're going to take the one that has a different color of wing on each end, blue and red, with the blue one. Now the geese are going to come head to head, or nose to nose, however you want to say it, like that, and we're going to make 4 of them. But let me show you how to pin them. So because we can't see on this side, we want to flip it over to this side. If you need to mark this, by all means, go ahead and mark it. And it's on the wrong side of the fabric, so you won't see the mark. There you can see my pencil mark here. I'm going to go across here. That tells me that I need to be putting my pin right about the stitch, across the stitches, but I want to make sure that I don't sew and take off his nose. And I'm going to sew it on the back side here. So first I'm going to put my pin in. And then I'm going to show you where you want to have your pin showing. Go a little higher here. Yep, I got to go to the right. There we go. So you want to try and put your pin right here at the tip, because you want to sew on this side to avoid taking the tip. So when you flip it over, take your pin, and while it's in, I'm going to lay it on the table. Let me see if I can do a close-up here so you guys can see it. Okay, so see the pin is still in here. You can see it right there. So while it's in there, take your marking pen. Let me turn it this way so you can see it. So while it's in here, I'm taking my marking pen and I'm going above the pin area with my mark, because I want to make sure that when I sew right there, I didn't go into the pin, and then I won't take any nose off. And that's how I'm going to mark all of these. And take this fabric and fold it over and push a little piece right here in the middle, right here, so you know where to line it up on your fabric here. I'm trying to see if I can see my blue now. And you can either guess at your 1/4 inch, or you can actually mark your 1/4 inch. Like that. And then put a pin on each side. So put a pin on this side here. I actually want to get it in that fabric so it holds it down a little bit. Go to the end, put a pin. I'm going to put a pin at the other end. like that. And then I'll put a pin right here. I'm going to put a pin on his right hand side of that. I don't think I need any more pins. I just want to grab this little bit of fold that's in there like that. Let's take this out. So it's got 4 pins, 1 on each end of that. Let's sew that. Okay, I moved my pin off that corner there. This pin right here. It was too close to the edge, so it's not going to feed if it's too close. I just need to get it started so that my actual needle is into the fabric. There we go. And then just hold it a little bit, and there we go. And watch my line here, because I'm approaching it. I don't want to go below it. Let's go right across there. You're done. It's going to look like that. And if you push it a little bit like that, you can see I did not chop it off right there. Okay? And that's what you want. So we're going to do 4 of them like that. So go ahead and pin them all the same way and sew them. One, like I said, it's both the tips. The nose is going towards each other. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to mark it so I know where to sew it. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to need to take our pin first and go through this one. And our main object is to come out at the tip top up here, right here, okay? I want to come out in the white part, and then from there we want to take it, and we won't need to mark this one because we're going to put it right down in here where it's white. I'm going to go right above that blue, just like that. You're going to put the 2 together, and before I pin it, I'm going to go over here to the left. I'm going to pin that one first. I'm going to come down a little bit so that my fabric can grab, the needle can grab the fabric. And you know, when I pin it down here, what I'm doing is I'm straightening it out so we don't get a pucker in it and it doesn't end up rolling over on us. So let's do that. I'm going to come to the other end. I'm going to pin this end. And that one's lining up pretty good down here, so I won't need to do that. And now while we're here, and this is sticking like this, which is holding it tight, don't use the pin that's in there, because if you bend it right or left, it's going to pull your fabric up or it's going to pull your fabric down. So just put your pin in at an angle if you can, like this, and that's it. And then take your pin out like that. Okay, then when you come up here and you're sewing, you won't have to worry about taking your pin out before you get to that point right there. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and sew that now. So when you're finished, you should have 4 of each block. This is the way they will look. And now they want us to put them together. And the geese are going, let's see here. So this set of geese goes upward. Then we're going to put a white strip next. Let me move this out of the way so I can get it all the way up on my thing here. Okay, because this is going to go next. And then we want right here the same thing going this direction here. So they're going up. They're going to the right. We need them to go downward. So you're going to go down like this. So far you've got a red, and a red. And then let me get the other one out here. And we're going to have it going that direction. And we're going to put another strip right here. Okay, so upward, to the right, downward, and then to the left. Okay, and then don't forget you're going to attach these strips. So we're going to attach these strips first, and then we're going to end up with 3 rows. 1 row, this is 2 rows, this is 3 rows. So let's go ahead and attach these 2 right here. Okay, so when I'm sewing this end here, not sewing, I'm sorry, when I'm pinning this end, I'm going to the wrong side of the fabric because I split open my fabric due to the bulk right here. So I'm pinning it on the left side, then I go over to the right, and I've already got the other side pinned, which is easy to pin. Only on these two places will it have this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my pin on the left one to keep it from rolling this here. I don't want it to roll that way when I go and sew it. So I'm going to put a pin on that. And that's it. It'll have 3 pins on it. And then I'll sew it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain stitch these. I went ahead and I pinned both sides of them. So I'm doing the side where I've got it open in the middle here first. Hoping I'm not going over any seams because I did not mark them, but we're going to see. If I end up going over a seam, then I'm going to stop and remark it. Let's find out first. Alright, let's take a look. Oh, that one looks good too. Alright, so they turned out alright. And I don't think I've got any tips on the other ends. So I'm not going to cut them apart. I'm just going to flip them over. Whoops. And sew them. Oh, and I found that finger thing too. This was the thing that I had been looking for and I could not find, so that I could stick my finger up in there and not get cut. It looks like this right here. I don't know where I got that a long time ago, but the point is I couldn't find a small safety pin that I thought was in something, and when I looked inside, there was that thing. I said, oh my gosh, I'd have never thought to look in there. I was looking everywhere, all the drawers and everything. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let me get it ironed open. Your 3 rows that you have. Uh-oh, this is wrong. Okay, it goes up to the right, down, and to the left, like they're flying in a circle. So now we're going to attach this to this and this to this. So let's do that now. Now be sure that when you do this, you have your seams going the opposite direction. So I have them going in on this one, out on that one, so they can nestle right there. Alrighty, do we need to mark ours? I went ahead and I put a little mark here. I don't want to go this direction on the line. I want to keep above the line. I did it again over here, and I did it again here at the both sides here. So it's got 3 marks on it in the 2 middles and right here where I've split it in half. And if you've got to mark yours, by all means mark it. Look with your naked eye, find your spot. Find your spot right here where that you want it to cross over but not go below so you don't lose your tip, and then go ahead and mark it. Here we go. Watching the line here, come up slow. And my pin's going to be in the way, so I got to take it out and slowly go across that. Keep coming. Go to the next one. Take out your pin when you need to. And there we go. Okay, it looks really nice. I didn't take my tip off down there. So now I'm going to put this one on and do the same thing. Alright, let's do the other half of this block, the bottom half. Got it all marked. Look at all those patriotic geese. Well, that one turned out really, really nice. So now let's build the next one. And I don't quite know what that one is. Layout. It's a flying geese going to the left. That's what this is right here. And then it is a flying geese going straight up. Then it's a flying geese going to the right. And a flying geese coming downward. So that all of your blue is going towards this red in the middle here. So let's sew that row together and this row together. And then I'm going to have to pin here because I'm going to do it on the other side because I've split mine open. Otherwise, if you haven't done that and you just went to one side or the other, you don't need to do all that pinning. Just on the ends, okay? Now when I change stitch these, I'm doing a little differently because I did not do both sides like I did the last time. I just did one of each. I found out I cut that just a little bit too big, but that's okay. I can take it off later, no biggie. When I get done here, I'll have one side of each and I'll show you. Oh, son of a gun. I just cut it off by mistake. I hit the wrong key. I need to move the bedding underneath here is too close to my foot. Let's move the foot a bit. Darn. Okay. So see, I've just got, let me show you what I got here. So I got each one of these done is all I did. Just one of each. In case you couldn't figure it out on the sewing machine. I just did that side to that side, this one to this one, and now I'm going to do this one to this one. That's all. I just did it that way. Now I'm doing that other half of that before I combine them all. Whoop, that went right over that pin. Now we're going to take this right here in the middle and we're going to pin it to that. Don't forget to mark these up if you need to before you sew them. Here's the last side to be sewing on. Now I've got that flashlight on. I don't know if that's going to be any good or not. We're going to try it and see. Okay, there's our first block. And our second block. Ooh, those look nice. Let me put them up on the design wall. There we go. They're both done. I've got them backwards, but that's okay. It doesn't make any difference. I need to iron the right one a little bit more. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Click on that little bell and then you can get some notifications. And I hope you guys learned something and also have enjoyed this mystery up to now. Next week is going to be 6 and it's going to be the assembly of the whole entire thing. I am really looking forward to it. And these are some beautiful colors. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.